the universe shifts, when society shifts, that we have to make a decision. Oh my God. And you wake up and you go, where am I? You know, and like you said, do people go back to work after this? I mean, I'm assuming so. We're not going to change that big, culturally, but then what does it look like? And how do we prepare ourselves for, for sort of imbalance? You know, it's a new way of looking at it.
Right. And you talk about 4-dimensional healing as sort of your method, the unique Rhys method. And I love what you said about, that this time is like where we do spiritual work, where we go, and when you have that pattern interrupt, we break patterns that we go into and that are pretty unconscious. Like we sort of like routinely walk through our day with that, and we're like not thinking about such things all the time. And now here we are thinking about them. And what is 4D? What is 4-dimensional healing? Can you explain that?
Yeah, well, I mean, so 4-dimensional healing is what we've been teaching at the school for 15 years, and been it's sort of percolating, for me for many years before that, as I'm looking at people's soul quality and then their physical bodies, and then I started realizing, oh my God, there's different types of people, literally like almost like different species. Leaders are very different than deep feelers, and deep feelers are very different than caretakers, and caretakers are very different than creative people. And they literally have different bodies and different everything. And that goes along with, with what we've talked about in my book, Discover Your Purpose. And that's the foundation of what we teach in the school. Right. It's sort of like that there's this foundational truth within each person as to why we're here, not what we're supposed to do or how we're supposed to get along, because we can all kind of fake it in lots of different ways. But there's one sort of mission, there's one deliverable that we all have, and when we connect with that deliverable, everything else works. But when we talk about everything, so when we have something like this happening with the coronavirus, it upsets the apple cart. What? In the body first, your body's worried about getting a virus, right? So you're protecting, you're wearing gloves. I'm going out now with gloves on, I haven't done the mask yet, but I'm doing, I've got the surgical gloves, and, and I'm just like, what's the world coming to? So, but that's, so now at the physical level, things are changing. You're not going to work. You're not, things are affecting the way you sleep, where you can go, whether you're allowed out, you can't go to the store, you can't do the normal things you do. And so your body is being affected at the first chakra level, just at that very basic level. And then of course your chakras, so the one dimension is your body. And then the next dimension, which is the next level of consciousness, which are your chakras. And that's where humanity right now is shifting. We're shifting from allopathic medicine and body-centered sort of, we are the center of each one of us is the center of the universe. We're egocentric type of wisdom. Now we're shifting in more of a spiritual direction toward energy, and recognizing that, this body that has these problems, it originates back in the energy. And so the chakras are the next level. And so, the body is the first chakra. And so that's affecting, we just talked about how it's affecting the first chakra. And for those that get sick, it's definitely affecting the first chakra. Viruses are very powerful shifters of your body. Evolution is based on viruses getting in physical form and changing the cell structures, and they literally create, the evolution of all species comes from viruses, amazingly enough. So this is a big virus, and our body's like, no, I'm not ready to shift yet. But at that level, that's easy to see. But then at the emotional level, what happens when people are more stressed? What happens when you're feeling people's, let's say you're an empath, Lisa, you've got this huge empathic quality. Let's say you're an empath, and you're feeling the world more, and the world is terrified right now. And now what's happening? How does that affect your day when your second chakra is already, you wake up and it's already working like this, and you don't even there's nothing happening here. I'm not having a problem, but you're feeling more stressed automatically. And then the actions in the third chakra, it's like, how do you express yourself? Well, normally, when you're certain about something, you wake up and you know who you are, and you comb your hair the right way, and you get the clothes on, and you do your thing, and there you are, and that's me. So now you wake up and it's like, whoa, not going to work, not even going out of the house, not even sure how to interact with people.
Working in my jammies all day.
In your pajamas. Well, that's something to aspire to. And so then so that's the third chakra that's being affected because who I am, my sense of self, is now being challenged. And each of these things. So what's happening in the world, and all spiritual work is based on the last book we have the students read is called Comfort with Uncertainty, because after 3 years in our healing training, they are comfortable with uncertainty. They aren't able necessarily to manifest uncertain times, which clearly we're not manifesting that either. Uncertain times come. It's how you then shift with them, move with them. You're comfortable with uncertainty. And actually you become really aware that anything you're really certain about is almost always a delusion. And eventually it will be shown as a delusion. And so learning to be comfortable with uncertainty, what it means is doing the inner work of understanding that each of these chakras needs to know its purpose. And when it does, of course, chakras are present moment oriented. And within every moment of every time, your chakras can totally fulfill their needs. Okay, at any moment of any time, every chakra can fulfill its needs because that's what they do. That's how they work, right? There's no sort of like, oh, I'm in a bad situation, my chakra will never get fed. Well, in that bad situation, you have a need in that chakra to decide, I'm gonna close this down and go find what I do need, right? And if I can't, I'm going to keep the chakra open and enjoy. I'm gonna see what is in this moment that I can nurture myself through the heart chakra, or through relationship, or through the third chakra, taking actions. But each one, when you have uncertainty in the world, is going to get affected. Your relationships get affected. There's the stress in the second chakra is affecting your relationships in the fourth chakra. The way you talk is different. Everything changes all the way up through the chakras. And actually, I'm starting a 30-day training on January 1st, on April 1st. Seems like it's the first part of the year. For 30 days, starting April 1st, where I'm going to be going through every one of the chakras, and so 4 days for each chakra, and each chakra we're going to be going through how to sense it, feel it, and listen to its voice, because each chakra is giving you feedback all the time. The voice in your head isn't actually the voice in your head, it's your chakras talking. Learning how to hear them specifically tells you how to feed them, how to support them in any situation. So if you want to know how to deal with your first chakra issues, you got to talk to your first chakra. Your brain only is angry that things aren't the same as yesterday, because the brain its only job is to keep today as much the same as yesterday as possible. Okay, the chakras are here to help you guide and flow through life and move in life. So this is the second dimension, which is a huge dimension for us, because all of our experiences in life come through these energy centers.
I have a theory about this too, about our evolution. That part of the evolution that, as a species, that we're going in is that, especially here in the Western world, that we're evolving out of the third chakra. Like, we've been living really in the third chakra, which is like me, and give it to me now, and narcissism, and like I'm gonna burn.
And I would say that's the second chakra.
No, would you? Yeah, and that image, like where your zip code is, and maybe it's just the lower three chakras that we've been
we're really living at survival in the first chakra and wanting it to be better in the second chakra.
Right.
The third chakra hasn't really arrived. We do a lot of things, but really in the panic mode of the lower two. The third chakra would be, I got it.
But I think we're moving into our heart, and like
we got to get up right.
Yeah, we're getting into the heart, and a lot of this like staying at home thing is like forcing us to be in our heart, to be more with our families, to be more with our relationships, and thinking instead of me, thinking about we, like what's better for all of us. Like that's up in that. And I think there's a lot of people that are making that shift into the heart right now. And it's the sort of virus is like, and the way we're responding to it is sort of not forcing us to, but certainly strongly inviting us to make that shift up there.
And that's an important, even if we're living in survival at the lower chakras, which most of us are in some way or another. In the lower chakras, we need the upper chakras, just because we're living there and surviving there and trying to get our needs met and trying to reach inner peace at the third level and then love at the fourth level, doesn't mean that we can't do the work in each of these chakras, in the upper chakras, that then inform the lower chakras how to navigate better, how to move better. And so, like you said, if we have more alone time, more time in the house, more time with family, that then forces you to face some issues that you might not have had to face,
right.
or do inner work, that's so important for you to then remember, okay, so if what I always believed isn't actually true, because one tiny little virus that no one can even see has changed everyone's lives in the world. If that tiny a thing, that's the faith of a mustard seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the tiniest thing in the world can shift everybody's lives like that. You got to maybe stop hanging on to as many things as you hang on to, and figure out, what would my life be like if I weren't so dependent on these things? And then how does that then help me grow and expand? And how do I create an environment? And because, you need a job at the first chakra. You need, fun and play and nurturance at the second chakra. You need to be able to show off who you are and be seen for who you are, and have that reflected back to you by other people. You need that. You need relationships. If you don't have someone to talk to and to connect with, it's like, what are you doing in life? And then you have to be able to communicate and share new ideas, and and all of that, and then finally connect to spirit and realize that we're all connected. So those two, so we're talking about the 4 dimensions of healing, and 4D healing, which is like we're 4D healers, because we now take it to the next 2, because those are the 2 that all energy work right now is focused on. Let's heal the body. Let's heal the body by working on the chakras. And every healing modality right now is working on some set of chakras. Some bridge it to the soul quality and get to the 5D. Some people are doing 5D. I'm manifesting my life through 5D. I'm so on the 5D. And I love that, because hell, we do that too. But there's a bridge between 5D and chakras that without, it makes it very difficult for that 5D to come into the world, which appears, but then as fast as it appears, it goes poof and it's gone. And it's like, how did that happen? Well, what makes it stick is after you have sort of done your chakra work, which is what we're doing this April. We're going through each one of the chakras. We feel it, and then we're going to see, how does that chakra perceive the world? How do you see it? And where do you see your opportunity in that chakra? If you're setting a goal and you can't see through your chakra, you're going to look for what you've always looked for, rather than what the chakra sees, which is, oh, you don't understand. You think this is your goal, but that over there, that will get you what you want. And you've got to be able to see through those chakras. So we teach you how to see through the chakra. And then you have to understand why you're blind in that chakra. So what did you vow to block that? How do you block that chakra? And how do you free that chakra up? And then finally, how do you do what the next level of the third dimension is, which is purpose. So how would you, when your chakras are open, how do you keep them open? Well, if my chakras are open because I've done some sort of energy work, and I'm going to teach you to do exercises and how to open up these chakras in lots of different ways. But then how do I keep them open? If I just go back to my old life, they just go right back where they were. Right. And this is what, we spend a lot of time at the school on people's purpose. And so the next level is like this what I call it the spiritual gravity line, where you've got a purpose that is like the universal gravity. It's like the Earth. Thank God the Earth has a purpose to be the Earth, right? Or we'd all be floating in space, right? And every day it wakes up energetically and keeps all those particles and atoms and everything changing, exchanging, doing whatever, but keeps the Earth solid. Well, we have the exact same thing. And if you want to figure it out, just try to leave. Just go, okay, I'm just going to disappear.
I'm going to pop off the planet.
I'll just be on another planet right now. No, because my purpose is to be here with these very specific chakras in this very specific body. And I need to get in touch with that purpose, because that's the third dimension of this. And on that dimension, we have our contracts, our spiritual contracts, all of that stuff.
It's kind of hard-coded in there. Like, it's not something you choose. You're born with that purpose. And I think people suffer. We talk about this in the school all the time, like that sort of the number one cause of suffering is to not know what your purpose is and try to live through one of these different ones you think you should, or it's what your parents wanted, or whatever, and we just suffer like crazy until we figure out what our real purpose is for. And it's mysterious to us until we look at it this way that you're doing.
Right. Because the brain, whatever your behavior is, tells you who you are.
Right.
And even if I'm not doing anything that serves my inner purpose, I can do it enough times. I can make that a habit.
Yep.
Enough of a habit that I can look at that and say, well, that habit must be me. But it's really not. And to tell someone for the first time that their illness has nothing to do with the virus they got, the this or that. I mean, those are all first chakra things that do happen. But the primary driver in that is that they've been trying to be the wrong kind of person. They've been trying to be the person that they're supposed to be. This is the source of, as we've done, we're 15 years into the school. I have yet to see an illness. Well, there's two types of illnesses, right? There's the one that you're here to wake up from, and then there's the one that's here to take you home. And sometimes, you have to accept that sometimes it's one or the other. But most illnesses are actually coming from this way that we run our chakras, not from this central sort of energy, which the martial artists train, the hara line, which you and I both trained for many, many years. And over in Japan, they actually really work on the hara a lot more than other martial arts, consciously. They really talk about the hara. The Japanese sort of created that concept, but it's really the same thing that healers use. And this is why martial arts masters all become healers. Martial arts master, as they widen this hara line, they just lay their hands on you. They just send the energy from like 1,000 miles away, and you change, because the change isn't that they got to fix your chakras. They're not in there doing this, and they're not spinning your chakras and doing all these things. They're not doing that stuff. They're just saying, oh, you forgot who you were. Let me show you what it feels like to remember who you are. Because as that life purpose energy, that third dimension in our bodies widens, our chakras fill in more. They feel more confident in being able to ask and speak and get the brain's attention and talk louder than the brain, because the brain is pretty much always talking, so you never can feel or hear your chakras, right? They come up in pain. That's why so many people that are super sensitive in the chakras have enormous pain. They have regular pain. They have fibromyalgia. They have all sorts of things that cause chronic pain in the body, and that's just because the brain isn't allowing the body to actually feel its real feelings. And so this is the next dimension. Then of course the last dimension, which everybody does try to get to and do get your epiphanies from, which is the soul dimension. So you have a body, you have chakras, you have this martial arts level life purpose line, which is really that's where the bridge is from the soul into the body. And then you have the soul level. And what we're finding over these years is that you work on any one of them and you can get great results for a short period of time. But if you fix your body, you fix your frozen shoulder, but you didn't realize that in the fifth chakra, you are carrying too many people's burdens. You never say anything about it. 3 weeks later, that shoulder is going to be frozen again. Right. But if you do both things together, if you free the shoulder up through your physical therapy, and then you realize, oh my God, I got to tell my mom that I'm not your boy anymore. I'm independent. Whatever it is, you have to say those words, and it's got to get out there, but now you've done those two things. But if what you're saying is based on being against your mom rather than for your own highest purpose and purpose in life, then it just comes back again. So even though you've healed the first two levels, if you don't know why, the big why in your life, then it still comes back. So you need to know those three things. And then finally, as you're lifting and you're sort of working on, okay, I've got to fix my shoulder, I better talk to figure out where the chakra problem is and where I've lost my way in my purpose. And then after we've got those three in balance, then you actually directly experience this direct line between your body and your soul. And it's called an epiphany. It's like, really? That's all it was? It was just, I just had to feel like this. And then the soul healing isn't a matter of I have to work at this and do this. Once you open those three channels simultaneously, there becomes like a bridge between the soul energy, which is over here. Let me try to stay in the picture here, and your body. Okay. And all this massive energy over here needs to come through. And it can only come through when you know your purpose. And then you know how your chakras are serving that purpose. And then you realize, oh my God, I've got the perfect body to do that. And But if you're just dealing with the body and not the other ones, you can fix it for a while and it falls apart. You can work on your chakras. You can open up a chakra with the healer, and you go back into the body, and you run into the same person that caused the wound to begin with, and it goes, whoa, and it shuts right back down 5 minutes later, right? So learning how to lift all four up together, that's where permanent shift comes. And I think that's something really to address while we're on hiatus here. You know, if we're going to work on ourselves, what levels aren't you working on within yourself? What kind of rituals aren't you practicing?
And I think it's almost impossible to do it by yourself. You know, like you can get to a certain level, you know, meditating and doing physical work, but this kind of the way that we put it all together in the school, it's so unique. Like I don't know anybody else that really puts it together the way that you do. And then and we just, it's like year after year seeing the transformation in our students and seeing the change in them, and how conscious they become. It's like a consciousness raising thing too. So people become much more aware, much more awake, and much more have much more fun. It's really such a great thing. And I just was thinking, like, you know, it's sad. We were supposed to be teaching this weekend. This was supposed to be last weekend. I'm like, I feel sort of weird. I'm like, where's school? Like, I don't know where I am. Like, what's happening? Why isn't that there? And that's like, I'm trying to get with that. And at the same time, I'm super grateful that you're offering this class, you know, so that we can take advantage of the fact that, well, we're not going to be in school this weekend, but we are going to be able to, you know, get together as a community, invite all sorts of new people in, and really take the time to go 4 days with each chakra. That's like a delicious opportunity that we normally don't have time to do. And, you know, and so it's sort of like, that's the opportunity. The bummer is we're not going to be in person. But the good thing, the opportunity is here you are doing this virtual thing that's really going to help dive into the chakras. So just doing that kind of spiritual work on your own, sort of like trying to look at the back of your own head. Like you need a mirror to show you like what's going on back there. You're like, whoa, right. That's what's going on back there. So,
and there's so much to know. And, you know, and I'll share a ton of my wisdom on chakras, and there's an infinite amount more. But one of the things that I was just, of course, I'm you know, building out the videos and working on the handouts and the things, that all that sort of stuff. And it's just important to understand that each chakra has an internal purpose that has to be felt. And then it has an external purpose to connect you and to help you realize that the world is not the world out there. What you perceive in the world is you.
That's right.
Through each of these dimensions. And until you've come in far enough inside yourself to see yourself, when you get all the way in and you realize, and you kind of go through the chakra and through the chakra and through the, you know, through the purpose and into the soul, and then you realize, oh my God, we're all one. And then you come out, right? And then it comes all the way out and goes into the body. And then and then you realize that you're just a cell, you know, inside the cell of 7.5 billion cells called human beings. And that's, you know, in the cell of the planet, which is part of, you know, 100 trillion cells that are planets that are circling around stars. And then there's billions and billions and billions of stars that are creating another cell. And so when we sort of look at how all this works, this inner reflection time that we have right now is you know, meditation time or challenging yourself to do something new. Any of this kind of inner work then reflects, how am I part of the world? Right. And when everything's going to plan is when we're the most unconscious. Amazingly, we might be the most successful, but the most successful often leads to the most unconsciousness, because the more successful you are, the less likely you are to ever even entertain possibly upsetting the apple cart. And so this is a struggle.
We wouldn't choose it. Like we wouldn't voluntarily do this. Like it's like, you know, and I think those really huge, like they're initiations in a way, you know, the initiation, the spiritual initiation is never something you choose. It's like, it's so painful to the ego. Why you would never, you know, so it's always that like illness, like you said, or the illness that comes to wake you up, or the divorce, or you lose your job, or the world falls apart because of a new virus. Like those things spiritually initiate us. And then we have this incredible opportunity to to reformulate at a higher level. You know,
Right.
that's the real thing about evolution is we break it down and we reform it at a higher level. So I'm glad. I'm so excited for your class too. And you're going to post the link in here too, like about how people can get it.
I will totally post a link in here when
yeah.
Let me get. I don't have my glasses, so I will totally do that.
Okay, and I will too. I'll post it on my page so people can.
Okay, yeah, we'll put it in. I'll put it in here after we're done.
Yeah, put it in when you're after we're done because I think
it's actually easy. It's selfhealinginthirtydays.com.
Perfect time for it. Rhys, like your genius, like intuition, like set you up to do this class right now.
I planned the class even before the coronavirus. I was like, this is something that people would really, you know, it's like I don't get a chance in the school to do as much one-on-one. Like let's really, what kinds of movement would you do to open that chakra? What kind of vision do you use? What kind of sensations? What's its voice? And learning how to play with the chakras means you're going to bring that attention to something that's really important rather than the attention of where the media is taking you right now. How's the stock market doing? How's the, everything going on? So.
Yeah, we need to unplug from that a little bit, every day and plug into something more fun, more joyful, more fun, more, more hopeful so we can repattern. I just love it that you're doing this. I'm so excited for it. I'll be in it.
My greatest healing is enthusiasm. So I'm going to give you a little enthusiasm jolt every day.
Awesome. Just what we need. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you for coming on and talking to me I know you're so busy, so I appreciate it.
Oh my God, Lisa, anytime.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
great. Yeah. And I will see you in the class on April 1st.
On the 1st. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Nice.
Thanks, guys. And thanks all you guys for watching.